something I say on the video, set yourself on fire and the world will come see you burn. That's John Wesley, man. One of the great evangelists. They asked him, how do you grow your ministry? Everywhere you go, these people come and they said, man, set yourself on fire. The anointing, the passion, the thing that you most love to do. Turn that up. Don't worry about the money. Don't worry about the scoreboard, the numbers and all that, the followers, the likes. Just turn yourself up, doing the thing that you love to do, and the world will find you.
Welcome, world. This is the Life Lessons by Motiversity podcast. Your host, Tori Jones. We're here with the illustrious Billy ALSBROOKS. Oh, my bad. Dr. Billy ALSBROOKS. What's good, Billy?
God is good. God is good, man.
Good to see you, brother.
Appreciate you having me out here in L.A.
Without question. Welcome.
The people have been amazing. Everybody been showing us mad love out here. Oh, it's been amazing. It's been amazing, man. Nice. So we're just trying to get a lot of B-roll footage of the city and tied into the tour, the 40 City tour that we own. So, man, it's awesome.
Hold on. Wait a minute. 40 City tour? What other city?
Yeah, we're doing the top 40 cities in the United States of America. The most populated cities, man. We come in every single one. Wow. Some of the cities, now, they close together. For instance, Dallas-Fort Worth, within 30 miles, that's one show. But we're doing the top 40. Yeah, we're doing the top 40 cities population-wise, man. We're bringing this word. We're bringing this fire troop music. And we're going to take it to the world. The legacy that I'm out to achieve and accomplish while I'm here is to impact 1 billion people positively. So that's what we're going to do.
That's a beautiful thing, and I think this podcast, this show is step one. So, Amen. Billy, so tell me a little bit about yourself, man. Tell me what makes Dr. Billy ALSBROOKS, Dr. Billy ALSBROOKS. How'd you get here?
Man, I was in the music business 17 years, rap artist. I had songs on the radio, music producer, songwriter, on-air personality. Produced for a bunch of gold and platinum acts, chasing what the world calls the Hollywood lifestyle, the women, the fame, the money, the accolades, all of that. And no matter how high I went in that business, it was always a void. And the higher I went, the bigger the void got, and I couldn't understand. Because the world tells us that's what success is. The nice car, the homes, the money, all of that. But it never seemed to quench the thirst that was on the inside, And I couldn't understand why. Because I did everything they told me to do. If you get this on the radio, man, everybody loves you. You'll have, loyal people. The money's there. The world bows down to you. It's all a lie.
So you checked all the boxes. You checked all the things in terms of having a record, having success on the charts.
Right.
Playing big shows in front of
20,000 people, man.
Okay, Crazy. Got you. So you had all these things, yet you felt a certain void. Walk me through your music career. So walk me through how you got to this point where you became Billy ALSBROOKS, the motivational speaker. So take me through your music career.
It started out when I was young. My grandmother owned a music store for 26 years teaching lessons. And my mother and father both at one time or another taught there at the store. All my aunts and uncles taught. My mother had a master's degree in music. My father was in the Alabama Music Hall of Fame as a studio musician. So when I grew up, man, music was everything around me. It was just constant. I started out playing drums, flirted around with some guitar, just some different things to find me. Got in high school, fell in love with the turntables, the DJing, so I got rid of the drum set and started beating on the drum machines. And, man, I loved it. I got a hold of the mic when I first moved to Florida. My sophomore year, and
where'd you move from?
Moved from Dallas. I was born in Alabama originally, and when I was 8, a recession hit in the 80s. We moved to Dallas, and oil was booming, so my dad went out there. We stayed there until my mother got a transfer down in Florida. So my sophomore year, we moved there. And it was a totally different lifestyle.
Gotcha. I heard the twang. I heard that accent. I'm like, where's that accent from?
It's a little bit of everything. Okay, so that's why you can't figure that. Sound like a little southern, Dallas and Miami, and down south and all that. Just gumbo. Yeah, gumbo, But I went down there when I was in my sophomore year. A friend of mine had a DJ set up in his house, and he was kind of known around the area. So in between one of the baseball games I was playing, we had this 4-hour layover after school. So we went over to his house and got on the mic for the first time, just playing around, just doing little freestyles. We recorded it. Back then it was actually mixtapes, a real tape. Not tape, we say mixtape now, but it was actually a real,
press play,
That was it. But we recorded it. I had a little entrepreneur in me even back then. I went home, made some copies, made 5 copies, went to school the next day, sold all 5 of them, made $5 a piece. Okay. So I was like, $25. So mom gave me $10 to sweep and do all these chores all week, bust me down. And I got $25 for doing this on one day. And today's Tuesday. I'm like, there's 3 or 4 more days of school left, right? So I went home, took that money, bought another 10-pack of tapes, went back to school the next day, sold them.
So basically the old school selling out the back of the truck.
Yeah. I mean, we weren't good, but people, man, I knew how to sell. You know, I wasn't that good. It was the first one we ever made. But, man, I was like, oh, there's some money doing something that you like to do. Of
course.
I'm like, oh, they couldn't tell me nothing. So from then on, man, in the music, me and music and the hustle and the grind, we had a little thing together, you know, and it showed me love and showed me favor. And I climbed the ropes from DJing. I got into DJing, you know, the excitement that I thought all the DJs had money, you know. They always portrayed on the mixtape they had money. So I was like, okay, I got to do like them and get some money. Got over there. Then I realized the DJs didn't have any money. The only ones that really making money in the music that time, there was, you know, as far as independent, like we were dope boys.
So from the get, and guess the D boys always are instrumental. So honestly, all styles of music, but especially obviously in the hip hop game, and especially down south.
Right. Well, that's where all the funding came from. Exactly. That was the bank in the streets. You know.
So essentially, when you got into the game, your objective was to make money. It's not like you were trying
fame,
to be like, you know, backpack rapper,
bars, no.
Poetic.
Well, I mean,
you know.
I did write though. I did like writing. I mean, today I love the feel of a pencil and a pad. I love to write. I love to express. You know, I was writing raps all day in school, skipping. As soon as I got the rap done, I skip out, go home, walk 30 minutes home, and record at my house. Yeah. And I had a little setup at the house, started making them tapes. I'm like, man, they can't tell me nothing. I'm making money. You know, this one English teacher, she saw my talent. I didn't even know it was a talent. I was just, you know, whatever, scribbling on paper, writing these raps. And she said, I always see you writing in class. What you writing? You know, I said, oh, I'm, you know, writing this. And I show her. And she said, oh, you're writing poems. And I'm like, I'm writing raps. What you talking about, poems? She's like, no, these are poems. She's like, oh, I see what you do now every day. She's like, I tell you what, bring these things to me every week, and I'll give you extra credit. I'm like, credit for this? She's like, yeah. I was like, well, I'm going to use this at home too, so I'm going to give it to you, but I need it back because I'm going to be writing when I get old. So I write these little raps down on paper. She credited me out. So that was kind of like the first one that actually, you know, saw what I was doing.
So
that,
what,
you know,
what age is this?
That was like my junior year, sophomore year. Okay. You know?
So you're already being incentivized for your poetry, basically. Like, you know, you're doing these raps, and you're not only obviously, you know, writing these raps so then you can spit, so you can record, so you can then flip, so you can.
And it didn't hurt with the ladies either in high school.
Obviously,
you know what I mean? You got a microphone in your hand. You look so sexy. The same ones that wouldn't show me, wouldn't show me any kind of attention.
Basketball or microphone.
Oh yeah. I play a ball too. My dream growing up was to play. I'm from Alabama, so college football is everything. Sure. We didn't have much in Alabama. It was just football, music, you know, and that was it for us. Football and music. So my goal was to play for the University of Alabama, but as I was growing up, I just didn't grow tall enough. I was about 5'6", you know. I could play. Now I started every game that I you know had the cleats on, and I balled out. But you know the scouts they weren't trying to hear that. You know what I mean?
The Crimson Tide is a different height.
Yeah, different thing. But I mean, I got some scholarships to, you know, Division III, stuff like that. But my heart was Bama. It was like Bama or die. You know, I didn't really have any desire to play anywhere. Honestly, I did not have. It was like one thing, that was it, you know? Yeah. When I got to about my senior year, I started realizing that part wasn't going to happen. But at the same time, rapping was happening. Like, I started getting bigger, the name got bigger, and then I started being known around the whole city, then Fort Lauderdale, Miami. And I was like, this is what I need to do. So I just transitioned out of chasing the football into full speed. I'm going to do this music thing. See, I never sat down and said, what's the end outcome that I want? And see, most people don't do that. Like, they don't say, okay, when I get up every day, what do I want my life to look like? Like, what kind of environment in the music business do I want? You know, do I want the club life? Do I want the just studio life? You know, do I want pop music, rock music, gangster music? What is it? Who do I want to be around every day? I didn't ask those questions. Mine was like, I just want to get home, give me some money, let me get some women. Yeah. Whatever that is. I don't know what it is, just give me that. So I did that. I wrote, because I could write these songs, these dance songs and strip club songs and gangster stuff. I could write them like nothing. It was easy for me. So I could spit them out all day, but I never asked did I want to be in that environment. So what happened is I got success. Like I had this #1 strip club record and about drugs. I didn't even do drugs because my father was an alcoholic growing up. So I saw that whole life and the whole world, and all my uncles had that addiction in my bloodline on that side. And I grew up and I was like, this is not gonna happen to me. So I wasn't even using this stuff, but everyone around me was using it. So I ended up doing these songs, and I'm in these environments that I have no desire to be in. I'm in clubs, 2,500 people, everybody high, everybody drunk. Last 5 shows I did, they shot up the place. Man, I'm talking about different venues. I went to different cities.
5 in a row?
And they shot, 5 in a row. I was like, bro, I ain't trying to do this. Like, it ain't worth that. Like, I was getting paid good money, but I was like, this is not where I want to be. I wanted to be at the Hard Rock. You know what I'm saying? Pop music.
Inciting riots.
But I never understood that, though. See, I didn't have the knowledge. My people perish for lack of knowledge, is what God say. So I didn't have this knowledge that I needed to know, write the ending first. I read a story about this author, and they said, how are you so successful writing all these books? What's your process? And he says, I write the end chapter first, so I always know where I'm going. See, and I didn't never do that. I'm just like, what's today? Let's make something for today. And that's it. I had such a short, vision, a short way of looking at things, and paid the price for it, But man, I could grind. Back then, I learned to grind, the hustle, from the music business. Gotcha. That's where the streets and music collided.
So then where? So you're in the music industry, you having success. Except obviously the part where you're in the strip club and get shot up. But I mean, it's still success, right? And you get to a certain point. What's that breaking point that made you just say, all right, I'm getting out of the music game and I'm getting into another calling. I want to have a higher calling. Was there an aha moment? Was there some sort of like epiphany? Was there a time when you was in the club and it got shot up and you was like, I'm out, like I'm not doing this no more? Like what was the thing that made you sort of turn the page?
2001, I moved from Miami to Orlando because Miami just got crazy. I mean, people shooting for nothing, just all day, every day, drugs, gangs, all of that. So we moved to Orlando, got out of there. Orlando was still a city, but just wasn't as crazy, So I moved up there, and about the time I moved up there, I started reading. I got a hold of Robert Kiyosaki's book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Right.
And he started in there talking about you got to self-educate yourself. Like they don't teach us the stuff you need in school. This is why we struggle. And it started to make sense. Like, okay, that's why I'm making money, but I can't keep it because I'm not investing in the right things. So I started reading his stuff and really immersing myself. And he stressed education, like personal self-education.
Not books.
Yeah, but self-education.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, man, I read everything I could get my hands on from like 2001 all the way to now. Like, I never stopped. Like, 2001, I'd be in the bookstore 3-4 hours a day. I'd go in the bookstore. I go to 4 or 5 different sections in the bookstore, like personal growth, psychology, religion, and art and music and things like that. So I'd have me like 3 or 4 different books. I'd just go to the shelf, pick something up, get my notepad out, hit my time on the phone, and read each book 20 minutes. I kind of skim through and see what I want them to do. Like whatever I wanted out of that book, I just kind of skim and say, okay, I'm going to start here, hit the thing, and I read 20 minutes, take notes. Now, I wasn't going to school. This wasn't for anybody. This is just for me.
Yeah, it's not academic knowledge, not a curriculum where it's like, oh, you got to take calculus or some things that don't apply to anything in reality.
Exactly.
But just sort of the self-education, the university of the world, so to speak. Right?
That's it. Because I mean, everything I was reading, was touching me, resonating with me in some kind of way. So I was hungry. I was like, oh. And then the more I read, the more hungry I got. I'd be in there 3 or 4 hours. They'd like, they named the table after me because I was in there so much. But here in the daytime, I'm in the bookstore reading deep stuff, like some of the most powerful and profound stuff ever written.
If you had, I mean, just not to get off task, but still on task. If you had 3 books that you would say like really impacted your life to who you are today, what would those 3 books be?
Well, definitely Robert Kiyosaki.
Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Outside of the Bible, let's say, because that's number 1. But outside of that, we would say Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Of course.
Think and Grow Rich. Science of the Mind. Some other ones that really affect me. I always studied laws of 48 Laws of Power, 33 Strategies of War, The Art of War, The Power of the Imagination, Never Gadar, like all these, man. I mean, that stuff just opened my mind up,
Gotcha.
But I started reading these books, some of the most profound stuff ever written in the daytime. And the nighttime I'd be performing in these clubs with this ignorance that I was saying out of my mouth. You know what I mean? Like I just read wisdom, knowledge, strength, power, and I'm spitting garbage. You know what I mean? And they shooting up and they talking all this, and I'm like, I just read some of the best books ever. And then see what happened, I started pouring so much truth in me. Lies couldn't coexist anymore with me. See, that's what I started. I poured so much truth in me.
Got you. That cognitive dissonance.
Right. I didn't understand what I was doing, but this is the law I was tapping into because, truth is the chiropractor of the mind. And lies and ignorance cannot survive in an environment of truth. And I started pouring so much truth in. That was all that was in me. So at nighttime, I'm having this tug of war going on now. Like what used to be okay for me to do and what I used to accept doing now is like, this is foolishness. Yeah. I see real people dying now. Like, people I know dead and we go on to funerals. I'm like, got to reconsider this thing. People going off 20 years. This guy gets shot. That guy got shot. This girl gets shot. Just craziness, man. I'm like, what are we really doing this for? And on top of that, I was looking around. Not many people were really thriving. Even though it looked on the surface like people were thriving and successful, they really weren't. You know what I mean? Like, there was only 3 or 4 rappers that could really even pay their bills with the stuff they were doing. Most of it was just check to check, club to club. You spend most of it at the bar.
Sure, advances. You buy a car, you buy a watch, you buy a chain, and that's it.
And they got you for 10 years, 7 years, whatever.
Exactly.
So, man, I started going through that struggle. And that last album I did was called Me Versus Me. And that was it. It was like, okay, the old me and the new me. Which one's going to win here, But in December, what changed everything was my father passed away in front of me. I had a blood clot, stroke, and passed away right in front of me, unexpected.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah, man.
Sorry to hear that.
It was the worst day of my life to see him die like that. But it was also the turning point and the preparation in the beginning of this, what I'm doing now. Had he not died, I wouldn't be here today. He died in front of me, and it rocked me at the core. It made me look at my life and my goals and my ambitions and everything. I really had to sit down for once and look at my life. Like, most people don't want to look at their life. You ask them, what do you want to do in life? I don't know. Like, bro, you going through life and don't even know what you want. Like, most people won't sit down and just ask, And me, I hadn't been doing that. I just been chasing what everybody else told me to chase, But what really changed it, a couple of days after he died, the funeral director went over there to the funeral home. Funeral director said, first he said, let me take you out and show you where I'm going to bury your dad. The plots. Your grandmother bought floor plots. So my grandmother was still alive. We went out there. My granddaddy was gone already. He was in the ground. So the funeral director said, there's your granddad. Here's where your grandmother's going to be. Here's where your dad is going to be. And here's where you're going to be. Oh. Now, see, a couple days before I seen my daddy die, like in front of me, struggle to die, like 10 minutes, all of that. I seen the whole thing. So when he said, you're going to lay here, I understood what that meant. I've been to funerals before, friends, all that. I really didn't get it. This one, I knew. When he said, you're going to be right here, this is where you going to be, it was like a gong. Dang. My whole body was shaking. I was like, ooh. Go inside. Funeral director says, what do you want on your daddy's headstone? What do you want in the obituary? I didn't know what to tell him because me and my daddy never talked like that. He was in good health as far as I knew. So I'm thinking, what would he want? What do he want on there? But then I started transitioning back to, you're going to be right here. Like my mind was still out there. Yeah. And then I put 2 and 2 together. Well, one day they're going to say, what do you want on Billy's headstone? What do you want on his obituary? And that changed me because I'm like, if I was to die right now, what would be on the headstone and what would be in the obituary? And I was like, here lies a man that served himself, didn't care about anybody else, and chased money, women, fame, and that's all he cared about. Didn't make a difference in nobody, didn't care about nobody except himself. And I was like, man, that's embarrassing, bro. I don't want my mom to read that. You know what I mean? But that was my life. I had to stare at it for once and be like, bro, this is how you been living. This is what it is. And then a day or 2 later, went to the wake. My father's laid out, and people coming up and talking to, about him. So my father didn't tell me a lot of stuff that was going on. See, he was an alcoholic. My senior year, my mother divorced him. And the day she divorced him, he never drank again. He'd been drinking 30-something years, could not control it. The day she divorced him, that was it. He had a why, a real why, which was to get his family back. So he never drank the last 15 years of his life. He'd go around to prisons and recovery centers and all that and help these guys get off what he was addicted on. Well, these people got up there and started talking about my father. They was like, your daddy came and got me on the side of the road at 2:30 in the morning when nobody to come get me when I was drunk. Another one said, your daddy came bail me out at 4 in the morning when my family turned their back on me. Another one said, me and my wife was at the kitchen table about to file for divorce, had the paperwork right there, and your daddy said, don't do it. It's 10 years later, we still together. So I was listening to this stuff, and what I didn't hear, because I'm observant, I'm like, I didn't hear anybody say anything about money, cars, rims, making it rain. Like, it wasn't like your daddy got good rims. Nobody got up there and said that. You know, like, oh, he was blinging, you know, or, boy, your daddy sure did make it rain. You know what I mean? Like, nobody said this stuff. And I'm like, man, this is what I've been chasing. Nobody mentioned none of that.
Yeah.
All it was
realize a man with great rims.
Yeah, exactly. All people were saying was what my daddy had done for them, and I realized that was the real net worth, is how much you're sowing to other people. That's the only thing our real value is how much we're contributing.
Legacy.
Yeah, legacy. That's exactly the word. I realized from that point on, my life, it was all about legacy and the legacy I wanted to leave. Now, I didn't know what that was. Now, see, I just got out of music, and that had been consuming my whole life, 17 years, and I was just one focus. And now I'm a man with no focus, except I know that it needs to be greater than the one I had before. You know, like the legacy, it needs to be something rooted in something real. You know, rapping was like half truths, everybody half faking, half truth. You know what I mean?
And it sounds like too, like with your rap career, you are very much like you were trying to just get in where you fit in. So like you were just trying to find like whatever niche you could find to like blow up essentially. Like it wasn't based on anything that was like some sort of urgent thing you wanted to say to the universe.
Right. Until the very end. That Me Versus Me album, I started dabbling in it.
Got you.
But at that point in time, I didn't have enough why and enough gas in my tank to keep doing it and pursuing it. You know, like that last album, I really started saying, you know what, man, I'm tired of doing them kind of records, you know. And the record that blew up, the one in Cali, I wasn't even going to put it on my CD because it was a real record. It was real, like what I was saying, because at the time, man, I had been running around on the wife, being in that music life, you know, and I came clean in the song. I was apologizing. It's called Right Here. You know, I'll be right here and apologizing for what I did, and it was real. Like every word, I did every word, and it was real for the first time. Like everything, it wasn't no faking. I wasn't trying to make it sound pretty. I wasn't making it for anyone else but her, right? So I had like 40, 50 songs done and was trying to figure out what's going to fit on the album, the mixtape. And I liked it, but I was like, I don't want to put that out there because it's personal. It's so vulnerable. I'm vulnerable if I put that out there. You know, but that's the point of music. But I hadn't discovered that you're supposed to be vulnerable in the thing you do. I hadn't discovered that yet because we from the streets, like, you don't show vulnerability. You know, I'll give you a little bit of me. But there's always gonna be this, you know, I can't let you in all the way, but you can have access.
Gonna be this, for sure.
So I remember going and playing for a couple of my homeboys trying to figure out what song. And one of the guys heard it, and I just cringed because they put the tape in, the CD, and push play. And
are you singing? Are you singing on it too?
No.
Okay.
I got another guy singing the hook, but he's, you know, he puts it in, I'm cringing in the back because it's a real record. I'm like, man, he's hearing my whole life right there. You know, he knows my wife and all the stuff I'm talking about. So I'm feeling uneasy because it's the first time I'd ever really been real, like totally real. You know, like I showed the vulnerabilities in the weak side, not just what we wanted to portray to everyone. This is the first record, man. We got done with it, and he's like, man, that record was kind of. He's like, you sure you gonna put that out? Because he felt the same way I did. Like, it was real. And I was like, okay. I knew the way he was saying it, that it was something to it. I was like, played it for another guy. We riding down I-95 in Miami. He's got his girl in the car. He's in the front. I'm in the back. And he gets to this song. And I'm like, oh, God, they gonna play this song. And I'm sitting in the back like, oh, I'm being vulnerable, right? Plays the song about, halfway through. His girl started crying. And he don't know what's going on. He pull over to stop. Like, what's happening? And she had connected with the song. And he goes, I don't know what, but you got a song right there. If you make her do that, you got one. So I put it on my CD, like track number 23, like at the back, because again, I was scared.
Back in the day when I was to have like 30 tracks.
Well, this is a mixtape, so I just, you chop it up, But it's like 23, and it should have been number 1 because it was the only real one on there. You know what I mean? But I'm discovering what I do now, fire truth music, what I call. But, it's being vulnerable, being passionate about what you do, and then packaging up yourself in a way that the world can receive it,
Gotcha.
And that was the beginning of like, okay, it's okay to be you. And they'll reward you for you. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I still didn't have enough left in the tank, man, to keep doing the music the way I was doing it. You know, so I laid it down after that. You know?
So you retired, put the jersey up in the rafters. What was the thing that got you into the actual motivational speaking thing? Like, what was your first gig? What was your first, like, let's focus on that part of your career now. We got the music part. Now, Billy ALSBROOKS moving forward. Like, what's the...
Man, I went through that whole thing, and my father passing away, and I was ready to find my calling, my thing. But before I could do that, I had to go through the struggle. You know, when my father died the way he did, it caused PTSD in me and panic attacks. So for the next 7 years, I struggled with this inner war. I lost everything that I had put up in music, my name, the fame, the money, all of that. It was like a debt by 1,000 cuts. You know, I was working and stuff like that. I had all these businesses and, you know, mixed city stores, urban stores. Like I had all that spreading out, you know, from the hustle, from the game. I kept those. But I couldn't manage them and run them right because I was having these panic attacks. Like I'd go to work, sit there for an hour, and then run home because I had a panic attack. And I would go to the hospital 12 times in 9 months, thinking something was, you know, happening to me. I'd get there and they'd be like, "Nah, you okay? You just having a panic attack." Whatever, they send me back home. And come back the next time, "Oh, here come Billy." Like I'd been there so many times they knew my name. Like, "Here comes Billy," you know? But I went through the struggle for 7 years, man. The worst struggle in my life. It was dark because nobody can get in your mind and help you fight but you. You know, I could go to therapy, the wife, the mom, everybody helping and all that, but still I had to win that battle, the battle of the mind.
What would you say got you over the hump? Was it therapy? Was the combination of things? Like what was the sort of like tipping point to get you to a good place?
It's kind of ironic because 2 days before my father had that stroke, I got this book called The Prosperity Bible, and it had like 19 classic, like Think and Grow Rich type of material from back in the era.
Right.
And I was like, man, I'm gonna master my mind. I was like, I heard about all this power of the mind stuff. I'm gonna master my mind. 2 days later, I lose my mind. You know, that's how it goes. But sometimes you have to lose yourself before you find yourself. You know what I mean? So I set on the journey to finding myself, but didn't realize that's what was happening. You know, so for 7 years, man, I went through this struggle. Got some therapy. I went to like 6, 7 different therapists before I found the right one. I found a young guy just out of school, 6 months out. But he was passionate about therapy and helping people, not just for money, not just trying to get me in there for another hour. But nothing really changed until I was going around the block one night, because this is what I used to do when I get these panic attacks. I start walking around my neighborhood, like a mile-long square block. So every time I got all these, you know, the panic attacks would begin to rise on the inside, and I knew at this point that's what it was. I wasn't dying. I was just dealing with this panic attack. So I'd put my shoes on and I'd go out there and walk, because all this energy's on the inside of me and you can't get it out, you know. So I'd go out there, walk, and start talking to God, you know. I started yelling at God, you know, crying to God, numb to God. You name it. I went through every emotion you could go through, just me and him, because there's nobody else at this point. Nobody can fix it. So I look up to him and I say, one night, I say, everything's gone, my money's gone, all of the names gone, all the friends gone, all of that. It's just me. I ain't got nothing else to give you. I tell you what I'll do. I'll make a deal with you. I said, if you heal me, I'll go out and tell the world who did it. That's all I got. And I think that's all he needed, was me to invite him in and say that. And as soon as I did, then things started moving slowly. It wasn't like overnight,
right.
But things, you know, the therapy began to get better. I started understanding what the therapist was telling me. I started getting revelation, and then slowly, I'm talking about years now. This was so hard for me because I was so wired in music that, you know, in these short 3-month intervals, that you put a record out, you got to get it in 3 months. You know, you got to get everything you can get off that record and then move to the next one. And this wasn't happening that way. This was like, okay, 3 months went by, no change. 6 months, change, no change. A year, no change. 2 year, no change. 3 year, no change. And you get to the point, you're like, this is the rest of your life, bro. This ain't gonna never get better. You know, I got to that point, I was like, it might not ever get better. The good days is gone, and this is what it looks like. You know, you are a person with no clear purpose in life, because I got out of music. You got no drive. You know, you don't know who you are. You're sick. All the people gone. No one to talk to. Nothing. You and God.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people.
Man, it was a struggle. The struggle was real, but so was the God to help me overcome it. So, man, he started delivering me and moving me piece by piece. I started going to this men's group at church because I was trying to get over these panic attacks. And I'm like, I need as much help as I can get. You know, I'm in church every time they open the doors. I'm in therapy every time they open the doors. I'm reading about the mind every day, trying to figure this out on my own, going to this men's group. And I'm in there for a while until one night this guy come up to me, the guy who ran it. And he's like, hey, can you teach next Monday? I'm like, not me. No, I ain't getting up there and talk in front of everybody. Now, I've been rapping in front of everybody. You know, there's always music and choreography and all that kind of stuff in front of 20,000. But to stand up there for, an hour and a half with no music, everybody quiet and just focused on you, I'm like, not me. That ain't my life. That ain't my calling. I ain't got nothing for that. You know what I mean? But he kept on. He kept on. He was like, man, I need you. And I was like, for some reason, I said, okay, I'll do it. So all week, man, I prepped and was nervous, get up there. I get up there that night on that Monday night, and I say, first thing I say, God still moves. And it was like an explosion went off on the inside of me, man. Boom, like a nuclear bomb or something. It's like I turned into Superman. And I started talking, and the words started popping, and the crowd was moving, and I'm like, where that came from? And people was vibing, and it never got like that before. And I spoke 2 hours in there, and nobody left on a Monday night. And we talk about 9 o'clock, people go home, right? We stayed another hour after, and then an hour in the parking lot. And it was just like the energy was there. So when I got home, I told my wife, I said, I don't know, but I stumbled onto something. I ain't never felt like that. I said, I've been behind the mic, for 17 years and never felt like I did over there. I don't know. I didn't know what it was. I just knew the energy was different. So I knew something was up.
And so this is the end of 2015. So now it's 2019. You're about to go on a 40-city tour. So like that is, and like you said, you were grinding in music for from back selling out the back of the trunk. Quote unquote, you know what I mean? Like you were grinding for, like you said, 17 years of music. It got you to a certain place. Now it looks like within 3 years, 3.5 years, you are in a place that is wildly expansive, that there is no actual cap to it. Because obviously you're doing your calling. Take us through, kind of quickly take us through that. Like how was that evolution going from this point in 2015, when you're doing the sermon, when you out in front of everybody at the church, and then to now you are motivating people, whether they are Muslim, Christian, religious, not religious, but you're motivating people. You're stirring a fire in them to, tell us how you got there.
Well, 15, I was back and forth. Every couple months I would do a lesson over there. 16 comes around, summer, and the guy can't teach at all in the summer, and he's like, "Can you do the summer?" Now, it's going to be 13 weeks that I was going to have to teach. I was like, 13 weeks? I'm going to come up with 13 messages, I'm like, I don't know about that. I said, but, something in me, the spirit was like, God gave you the opportunity. Take it. What you doing? You're supposed to do that. Something I say on the video, set yourself on fire and the world will come see you burn. That's John Wesley, man, one of the great evangelists. They asked him, how do you grow your ministry? Everywhere you go, these people come. And he said, man, set yourself on fire, the anointing, the passion, the thing that you most love to do. Turn that up. Don't worry about the money. Don't worry about the scoreboard, the numbers and all that, the followers, the likes. Just turn yourself up, doing the thing that you love to do, and the world will find you. We do too much scoreboard watching. We got to buy into the process that puts points on the scoreboard. You know what I mean? Because if you watch over there all the time, what'll happen is, if it's not happening quick enough as the way you think it should, you'll get into your emotions, and your emotions will affect your activities today that will actually put points on that scoreboard. So you have to stop looking over there. Keep your mind on the process. Buy in. Like, if I do the right things day in and day out, eventually I'll be in position to win. If I plant enough apple seeds, an apple tree is going to grow with apples on it. I don't need to say, well, is it grown yet? No, I just keep planting, keep watering, and that thing will happen,
Nice.
So 16 comes, I do this summer thing, and I'm like, the entrepreneur kicks into me. You're gonna be doing every 2 hours I did, hour and a half I did of presentation, I did 10 hours of study. So I'm like, man, 113 weeks, that's 130 hours. So I'm like, okay, you're doing all this research, and inside you've been thinking about doing this book. Why don't you just take what you're gonna teach and formulate it in the book, and while you're studying, you're doing two things at once? the entrepreneur, that's the entrepreneur in me. I
Sure,
said, okay,
sure. Yeah.
that makes sense. So I wrote Blessed and Unstoppable, my book, during that summer of 16. The end of 16, I started getting burnt out in my other business. I had some cell phone accessory stores at this point in time. And I'm like, I just burned out in it because I wasn't connected personally with that. I'm used to writing and being a producer and pouring me into something, and there was nowhere for me to be in that. So I'm like, as soon as I get this book finished, I'm done. The week I finished writing that book, I got out of that business. Now, I didn't know what I was jumping to. I didn't know where I was going. It wasn't like, okay, a big opportunity's open up, so I'm going to leave this and go to that. Sure, I didn't know. I just had to step out in faith. See, every time that something really happened to me in my life, I didn't know what was going to happen, and I just had to step out in faith. If I had to see everything before it happened, it never really happened. But those times that I said, you know what, Lord, I don't see anything. But I'm going to step out here anyway and just trust that you got me on the other side. And every time I did that, man, son, he do something amazing. 17 comes around, the beginning of 17, and Instagram's got these little 1-minute clips you can do video and audio, right? Sure. So I started talking to my buddy Frankie. I was like, man, those motivational video stuff, man, I think I could do that. Because I'm a music producer, and I'm hearing these guys. I'm like, the stuff they saying don't blend with the music they putting it over. As you know, most of these guys were just doing speaking live or something like that and didn't have the music with it. So when you put music with it, it didn't really fit. You'd have them going up in the vocals, the music going down. It wasn't married together. Right? And me as a music producer, I'm like, that kind of stuff used to bother me as a music producer. So I'm like, I bet I could do that. I'm not sure, but I bet I could do that. So I tried this little 1-minute clip. It's on the first video on YouTube I did. You can go back and check it. I just threw the Drake energy beat on there. I did this 1 little minute freestyle on Fade. I didn't have nothing written. I said, I just want to see what I sound like on the mic. Preaching, teaching, motivating, stuff like that. Not rapping, but just speaking. I never heard myself do that. So I didn't know if the tonality would work, if my delivery on the mic doing this would work or not. So threw the beat on, talked about faith a little bit, about believing. And I went to Frank, I said, man, I think it'll work, bro. I was like, I got some work to do. I got to mold the craft. But I think, I got the tools to do it. I know as a producer how to do it, and I think I got the voice to do it, and I'm reading, and I'm studying.
So it's the first time that you've seen yourself in this different lane, basically.
Well, I still didn't see it like I'm finna go out and do what I do today. It was like little piece by piece was being revealed, and I didn't understand what was going on. Around, I think it was the third month or fourth month in 17, I bumped into Motiversity online. We talked. He was, very small at the time, like 20-something thousand, 25,000. Yeah. And I had like 200 followers, not even. And those were all family. You know what I mean? Nobody was listening to me. And I'm like, man, I was like, I want to, do this motivational thing. Let's partner up. And he's like, oh, man, I've been looking for speakers. I was one of the first one that we partnered up with, man. And shot him over some stuff, man, and it did good on his channel, and he liked it. I was like, man, we got a nice thing. So, from then on, I started feeding him stuff for the channel, started doing my own, and started growing a little bit. But I still didn't know, like, hey, this is a profession. This is really what you call to do. This is how you're gonna change the world. I didn't get that. The money I had from closing that business at that time, things started getting tight because I left the business not knowing what I was jumping into. Now months is going by and I hadn't found really the stream yet, the money stream. Just wrote the book, just got it back in my hand. Now March, I got it back in my hands. I finished and I got the book back in my hand. So me and my wife, we kind of getting into it about money. Money, the enemy likes to squeeze you. So if he could put stress on you financially, whatever, get you fighting and bickering or whatever, get you to break focus. Broken focus is the number one reason for failure. So if he can shake me and get me off this thing that I'm about to change the world, he better get me now. Like, let's uproot it before he gets rooted, right? So me and my lady arguing about this stuff all the time, and the enemy's kind of getting in her mouth. She don't know what she's saying, but the enemy getting in her mouth trying to kill this dream that God put in me. Right. And, like, won't you just get a 9 to 5 and be like everybody else? And, you got to be realistic, talking all this kind of stuff. And I'm arguing with him like, no, this dream is in me. I'm not, So I'm at this tug of war. I'm at this point, this crossroad, okay? Mediocrity, 9 to 5, everyday living over here, the big dream that God put in you over here. Which one am I going to choose? I got to this fort. And I remember we got into this big argument one night. I was so angry because my life was not reflecting on the outside what I was on the inside. I had poured all this truth in me, all this stuff, all these dreams, and I knew what to do, all this stuff, but it wasn't, nothing was showing up. I'm like, where's the money? Where's the breakthrough? Where's the understanding my calling, all this? I don't know. Like, what's going on? And I remember going in there one night, turning on record on this track I was doing, and I started just yelling at the mic. I was born a champion. Raised a champion. I got champion in my bloodline. All I ever be is a champion. I started talking because I was having to remind myself, because I'm hearing this noise and the enemy saying, you're not going to be back in the rap days. You ain't going to be nothing. This is the rest of your life. And you got to be realistic, and the money's not coming, and the enemy's trying to get me in every angle. But I knew my identity.
Yeah.
I knew it. At this point in time, I was like, no. This ain't happening. I'm not going to choose that route. I'd rather die doing this thing right here than live that life over there. So I got on that mic and I started just, and for one time, I just started really letting me out. Like, I wasn't just saying motivational things. I began, and that song wasn't for anyone else. That track wasn't for anyone else. It was me. And if you listen on it, I say inside the mind of a champion. I go back and forth on this video, on this message, and it's real stuff. It's my wife, it's the enemy, and it's like, why don't you be realistic? God said, I'm the head and not the tail, above, not below. I'll lend to many nations and I'll borrow. Like, why don't you get a 9 to 5? Do you really believe that stuff you're saying? I say, I believe, and I would go back and forth.
You're shouting down.
Yeah, and I just
like,
put it on there exactly the way it was going. Yeah. People didn't understand what was going on, but I was saying this inside the mind of me. It was, these two voices going on. So like, I wasn't really putting it out to, do what I thought, what it ended up doing. Ended up doing millions of views. Other channels got on millions. Motiverse, it got 1.4, whatever, something like that right now. Yeah. Well, when we put that video out, book took off. Book started selling. Because now, like, it's circulating, and now they're coming to me, and all of a sudden, boom, hold on. The book is, like, jumping. Like, then my channel started growing, and then, I started realizing one night I was in there on the mic, and something just snapped. I was just like here, sitting in front of the mic, about to push record. Something in my spirit came to me and said, behind this mic, you can change the world. Now, see, in rap, all the music that I had rapping, behind the mic, it was I could change my world. That wasn't the voice. It was you could change the world by what you say. Because when I was going through my struggle, going around that block, like I was telling you earlier with the panic attacks, I was listening to motivational stuff back then. Was pouring in me. And it all became clear when I got behind that mic that night. I'm sitting here and they said, you could change the world behind this mic. You know who the other person is on the other side of this thing. You've been the sick one out there. You've been the one that didn't have any hope. You've been the one down and out and didn't have dollars, and everybody turned their back on you and you were sick and lost. You know that person because that was you. Get on this mic and speak to you back 4 years ago when you didn't know anything. And sow life into that person, because that's who's listening on the other side. So I understood it was a responsibility. It wasn't just about me like getting on and like making money like in rap. It's like, no, the words you say got power and gonna affect these people. Because the people that hit me now, like when I first started in that, I thought I was speaking to people that just wanted to, like be successful. Like, sure. That's not who hits me every day. The people that message me every day, now, there's an element that people want to succeed in life. But the people that hit me every day was, I just got diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. And I need your kind of stuff. I listen to you every single day to get me through these chemo treatments. Another one said, man, I just lost everything. And I'm going to prison, about to lose my mind. But I listen to you every day and you keep me going. Another one from prison, they write me 5-page, 10-page letters, man. I'm in here listening to you right now, you changed me in here. Like stuff like that. And I realized, okay, hold on. It's not the financial part and the entrepreneur part and the capitalist part. I get that. That's an element. But I'm speaking to real people hurting. I'm speaking to people fighting for their lives, not just fighting to be successful, but fighting to live. So when I get behind that mic, I'm like, I take it real serious. It's not just about me saying, y'all, keep your head up. I'm not Ron Howard, and this ain't Happy Days. You know what I mean? Like, the struggle is real, but I'm there to tell them, the same God that healed me will heal you. You just got to buy in and believe. He's not going to give up on you. And I realized that I got to be the warrior behind the mic for the ones that can't fight. See, when I was out there on the street, I couldn't fight. Everything was gone from me. I didn't have anything in me. I speak for that person. I stand in the gap for that person. And this is where I began to understand my identity and who I was. And when that thing took off and went, millions, and then other videos did the same, Books started selling. Then each, as I went along the way, it became clear, this is what you've been called to do. This is different than rap. This is not you. It's not your own ability. Because you're not that good, Billy. I remember you on the block. You're not that good, Billy. This is me. This is God doing that. You understand what I'm saying? So I just give it all to him and say, use me however you want to use me. Put me in and let me do what you designed me to do. Because the good thing about it is I never felt more alive than when I'm sowing life over these other people. Rapping, I felt good because I'm like, yeah, I'm doing my thing. It's all me. But I didn't feel like that. I didn't feel like the same way I felt when I could see somebody over there struggling, man, about to give up and commit suicide. And then they hear something and like, okay, I don't need to do that. And they hit me, man. I was about to kill myself. I had somebody hit me the other day. Just got out of the ambulance. My wife died. Can you give me something? Man, I need it. Can you give me a word or something? Like, these are the people that hit me. Yeah. So it's like that. We in war. This stuff we do is not just like, we making some cool videos, motivation. Nah, bro, there's some people on the other,
it's impacting people for real.
It's crazy.
It's really, I've seen it in my time with Motiversity and just seeing sort of some of the videos that I've planned and reading the comments and seeing how people really react to them and like knowing that hundreds of thousands of people are watching this and it's really hitting them deeply. So, I mean, definitely. Bro,
and for everyone that write, there's probably 10, 15 that didn't write. Yeah,
exactly. So just to kind of wrap it up, so two things. So what would you tell yourself, your 20-year-old self? So like where you are now, all the hindsight that you have, what would you say to your 20-year-old self?
I'd say the message I'm preaching now, man, God still moves and do fire truth music. And what I mean by fire truth music, fire is do the thing that sets you on fire inside, that makes you feel the most alive. You, like the one thing that God made you to do, the things that excite you, inspire you, energize you, do that. Whether it's a relationship, be with the one that sets you on fire. Not the one that you lukewarm on, the one that sets you on fire. If you're going to have a relationship with God, let it be one on fire. If you're going to do work, do something that you can give your time, energy, and resources to that you were proud to do. Then the truth aspect, which I never adopted in rap. Truth, as I were in today, truth is the couture for greatness. There's no real success, no next level without truth. You know what I mean? So like tap into that. Just be you, be authentic. If you can't be authentic with someone, then they probably don't belong around you. If you just got to surround yourself with people that will keep it real with you and that you can keep it real with them, that won't judge you, that will allow that communication where you can just, bond and say to the world, this is who I am, like it or not. This is me. I want everybody around me to have that kind of mentality, man, that they can be themselves with me, that I'm not going to judge it, because if you judge, people won't bring to you. Of course. I want somebody that I can do the same with too, If the relationship with God, keep it real. He already know. So let's be true. Let's have that relationship. When I come to God, I'm straight up, I say, this is my flaw. This is what I'm thinking. He already know anyway. So keep it real. With the marriage, the spouse, the girlfriend, soulmate, whatever, keep it real from the get-go. See, I had so many relationship struggles because all the way through the mix, I never was able to really be me because I was scared to say me. I was scared to be vulnerable in front of people. To have the kind of connection and the depth in the relationships you want, you have to be able to be vulnerable. And most people get in these relationships where one could be vulnerable and the other one don't trust it. Of course. Yeah,
But that's big though. What you said before is just sort of tapping into that fire.
Yeah, fire, truth. And then the music aspect. Now, when I say music, I don't mean like I did music. What I mean, music is just vibration. And we all vibrating in something, right? Success is a certain frequency. Relationship, love is a certain frequency. So what I'm saying about music is find your frequency that God wants you to vibrate at. Package up yourself. Music is, like the packaging. Package up yourself in a way that you can deliver value to the world. This is my music. Like when you walk in the room, you might not say anything. There's music playing when you walk in. I either like that music or I don't. It's like, man, like Jig got a cool vibe. You know what I mean? Like the music is cool. I like it. Or you can be like, man, something wrong with you. I don't feel good around him. The music ain't right. You feel me? You don't know what it is. So what I'm saying is fire, true music.
Chords,
exactly. Exactly.
Got you. Okay, so last thing. So it's kind of a two-part question, but what are you doing now? So the whole 40 city tour. So just explain that, and then big picture. Where do you see yourself? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? The corporate question, but where do you see yourself in 5 years? So just real quick, just explain sort of like, what's popping right now, this immediate tour, and then
Okay.
yeah.
We're going to bring the Blessed and Unstoppable seminar tour to the top 40 cities, population-wise, in the United States. We're going to take this message, Blessed and Unstoppable, and we're going to inspire, motivate, educate, empower, teach people how to be the best version of themselves. We're going to teach them fire-troop music. We're going to teach them how to be what God designed them to be, and we're going to give them tools that they can actually use to go out and do it.
40 biggest cities, and you're doing that right now. You're
Right
currently
now.
on that tour.
Yeah, we got the first 5 cities, L.A., Chicago, New York, Houston, Phoenix.
Boom.
And that's the top 5 cities in the United States.
Of course.
Now, that took a lot of faith, because we starting out, it was still at a level, we still building this thing. Like we still in the infant stages the way I see it.
Yeah.
This is still infinite, infant stage to me.
Sure.
But I'm like, I teach this message all day, dream big, because with God, all things are possible. And if you're not at a place where you have to have God in the situation in order to be successful, then you're not dreaming big enough. I want to invite him in. I want to say, well, I need to stretch beyond me. If I can do it, then my goal's set too low. Set your goal not to your own ability, but to that of the God that you serve. So I'm like, man, let's go do it. God will bless this thing. If we step out in faith, God will take care of the rest, man. So he put the vision in me, and we laid it out. 40 cities, man. We coming. And to me, this is the first leg. See, when I was in music, it was all short term. Now I'm like, no. 5 years. What do you want? 5 years, like you talk about 5 years. I'm thinking 5 years now, like longer timelines. Like in 5 years, where I want to be.
Where you at in 5 years?
Yeah, this tour right here is to lay the foundation. Okay, we doing, venues 200-400 size, right? We come back, we're going to, hopefully, we're going for the arenas, man. We coming after 1 billion people. God put this in me, 1 billion people. Not 999,999,000, whatever. It's 1 billion. We coming for it all.
Is there somebody that's like already the hip-hop Joel Osteen? That's what I see in your future. If I had a crystal ball, I'd be like, you're kind of the hip-hop. That's how you say his name, Osteen?
Osteen, yeah.
Yeah. Really be checking for him. But like, the hip-hop Joel Osteen. Like, that's how I see you. Just like you seem to, you're so passionate about what you're saying. And obviously, the amount that you've blown up in the last couple of years is kind of only a matter of time for that. That's kind of just is my crystal ball. But what do I know?
Well, that's in the cards, man. I see it in my mind, When in 2009, when I was having a panic attacks, I was actually at Joel Osteen's church sitting up in the balcony there. This is going to be a good story when I get on that stage. Because in 2009, I was sitting up there having a panic attack while he's on stage. Because my mom would say, look, this will help you. We got to listen to, positive things. You're going through this, and I was negative because everything is, happening, going the wrong way. And she keeps on life in me, And I was up there watching him because he was one of the ones that really resonated at the time because he was just full of hope, and I was a baby Christian, and I couldn't understand like real depth of theology of all the, the Bible and stuff like that. He kept it on the surface level, just enough for me to understand it, to come to God. It wasn't too deep that I couldn't understand what he was saying. And it was full of hope and faith, and that's what I needed when I was going through that battle, man. So Joe played a massive role in what I'm doing today just because of that hope. So many times, man, I'd put that on and feel better. I mean, when I had panic attacks, man, it was hell going through those things. I put him on there, and I start feeling better, just a little bit better. Not, a lot, but a little bit. And a little bit's a lot when you ain't got nothing. So, man, I see myself on that stage. I've been visualizing that for a couple weeks now, just going over and over, seeing that crowd and doing that thing and pointing up there, exactly where I was at up there. Right up there. Right up there. And y'all could be, somebody here is now going through that too. So remember, this is 2009. Took me a while, but God is faithful. God was still moving. What he did for me, he'll do for you. I see that vision, man. I see them lights on me walking on that stage, But 5 years, man, I see us coming back, hitting these arenas and taking this thing global. We hitting the United States, basically focusing right now. But this is a global message, and God is preparing us, not letting us get ahead of ourselves. Like me, I wanted to stretch a little bit beyond that, but also God's like, hold on now, let me prep you. There is a process. There's you got to sow first. You got to, prep the ground. then I'm gonna, make this thing massive. But you got to do your part, and our part is trusting him with the little numbers. If he can't trust us with 10 people, if somebody come to an event, 10 people come. If he can't trust us that, how you gonna trust us with 10 million? Right. So we have to be a good, faithful steward of every single person that he sent. If he just send one and sit them there, and we have a thing, I'm gonna rock it. I'm gonna give that person my all, because it don't matter about that. It's my identity. Do I only perform when we doing good? Like you're in the league, basketball league, and the playoffs is out the question. You got 10 games left. Do you take off or you still you? You know what I mean? That's the question.
Of course.
So me, it's like every time we get an opportunity like this, I'm coming to rock it, bro. We will stay here 5 hours if that's what you want, because I'm not gonna waste this opportunity.
That's not what she wants.
I understand that on that end, but like for me, that's my identity. Like whatever you needed from me,
of course, no,
that's what you got.
And Billy, I appreciate that, bro. And again, I mean, your message is powerful. I think it applies, religious, non-religious, just kind of the inherent spirit of people wanting to do better for themselves.
Amen.
Like wanting kind of to glow up and take that next level. So,
that's right.
Brother, I appreciate your story. You giving me this time, meeting you.
Man, it's an honor to be here with you, bro.
You know what I mean? And
I appreciate
so it's been great. And again, man, this is Life Lessons from Motiversity. Like I said, it's been an honor. The Dr. Billy ALSBROOKS. Check him out on all socials. With all your socials?
Yeah, Billy ALSBROOKS.
Just add Billy ALSBROOKS, everything. Yeah, bro. Appreciate you.
Yeah, man. Let me end out like I always end out. First, big time shout out Justin over here, Big Frankie, Global Films in the house too.
Yes.
But we want to say this is Dr. Billy ALSBROOKS, blessed and unstoppable, and to God be the glory.
Boom.